I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight on this, it's not snowy and icy now, but the cold, damp evening, and to watch Mr. Michael Ivey, our newest council member, be sworn in, and this time, Mike, throw me up front. Only if you want to, Mike, that's...
I got a warm last night.
I would never know.
That'll be Mark.
How are you doing?
For the haircut. See, I'm there.
How are you? That's a grip right there. Isn't that what you asked about? Oh, no, you
Oh, I
asked.
asked it, yeah. Okay, you want to hold it?
Left hand on the Bible, right hand up. So why don't you guys gather around Dad over
Oh,
here?
wait. No, it's
Ready?
Ready.
Repeat after me. I, Michael Ivey,
I, Michael Ivey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of councilman
of the office of councilman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I want to introduce who's here with you tonight, and the floor is yours.
This is my lovely wife, Carrie, my oldest. Yeah, you can. Everyone knows her, not me. My oldest, Shane. My daughter, Bryn. And this is Owen. I just have a few words. I'm not a public speaker, and this was not blessed by Carrie, so. I just want to thank the council for having the confidence in me to fill the very large shoes of Joan Goddard. Thank you for all the great lasting work you did for the town over the years. I also want to thank my family. Last few years have been quite challenging and different, so I appreciate everyone following me in this next path. So I recognize that this is not the standard way to become a council member, so I want everyone to know that this year will not only be for me to get accustomed to how the town operates, but also to gain the trust of the residents to show that I have their best interests at heart. I look forward to meeting many more of the people in the community and listening to any and all viewpoints. At the end of the day, I want Morris Plains to be a place where these guys would also want to raise their own kids. So thanks again, let's get to work, and these guys need to go to bed.
So I thought you were kidding when you said you were gonna say that. You were serious. But Gary, here's just a little something for you. I know this is nothing without everything that you're gonna be dealing with over the next few years, and but it's just a little something for us. So thank you. We do have a little something for Mike to get him off the ground. We do have an official pin, your Morris Plains pin for you. We have, I expect to see this on every day. Morris Plains, you get a couple pens. I hope you run out of ink soon with them, and of course the bag. And actually the bag was designed by Joan, and very nice. And we do have your name pad.
It's right here. Do we have it?
No, but a real one. This is timing, timing. And
We know who he is.
And your lapel pin also for with your name on it. So Mike, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you for coming, everybody.
we have no minutes, just the approval of the consent calendar. Good.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everybody. All right, approval of consent agenda reports. Grant writer, January 2025. Resolution 2025-39 entitled Borough of Morris Plains Resolution Limousine Owner License Silvio Robert Apustu number LO3-4066-2025. Resolution 2025-40 entitled Borough of Morris Plains Resolution of Support to Submit a Grant Application to the FY26 Pedestrian Safety Enforcement and Education Fund Grant Program to obtain traffic speed control devices. Resolution 2025-41 entitled Resolution Authorizing Disposal of Surplus Property. Having received quotes to Hydro Lake, Community Park, and Whatnot Ponds from the following: Lake Management Sciences, 48 hours over 6 days, equipment transportation fee, total $9,881. Aquaclear LLC, 48 hours over 6 days, equipment transportation fee, total that's a typo there. I'm assuming it's $9,900. Okay. That a purchase order be issued to Lake Management Sciences, P.O. Box 2395, Grantsville, New Jersey, in the amount of $9,881. Guys, when they do this, you gotta go check it. It looks like a movie from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's beautiful. It's just, it's a handmade thing, and it works. Having received quotes for a zero-turn mower from the following: Fred Small Engine Sales, Inc., $15,199. Handymans, $15,238.24. A purchase order be issued to Fred Small Engine Sales, Inc., 11 Burnett Street, Livingston, New Jersey, in the amount of $15,199. That a purchase order be, having received the quotes for the plow for the sewer truck from the following: Westchester Machinery, $7,100. FDR Hitches, $7,313.64. A&K Equipment Company, Inc., $7,660. A purchase order be issued to Westchester Machinery, 278 Old Ledgewood Road, Flanders, New Jersey, in the amount of $7,100. Having polled the council on January 31st, 2025, the mayor was authorized to sign the FBI's nomination of law enforcement officers to amend the National Academy Program of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, in which Chief Koroski is nominated. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nancy. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cortese.
Yes.
Mr. Bruhn.
Yes.
Mr. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Ivey.
Yes.
Mr. Pontier.
Yes.
Ms. Verga.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to invite members of the public to state your name and address and any concern you have.
Dave Burrows, 24 Hillview Ave. So I just have a couple of public safety issues I'd like to address. I've been a resident of Morris Plains for 26 years. I live on Hillview Ave, as I stated. In that time, while there's been a sign limiting parking for 3 hours during the day on the street, it's never ever been enforced until about a year and a half ago, when they started ticketing. Residents of Hillview Ave are now required to purchase an on-street parking sticker for the right to park in front of our houses. While the $5 fee isn't prohibitive, I feel that charging residents for parking is wrong. The bigger issue, though, is that the name of the street and the town are printed on the sticker. So I have a daughter who parks her car in the street when she's home from college. Several weeks ago, she was at the Walmart shopping center in Cedar Knolls. Two men watched her exit her car and enter the store. When she came out, they were looking at the parking sticker on the back of the car, which has her street and town. I feel that this is safe and unsafe and unnecessary. So my suggestion is changing the stickers immediately to eliminate the street name from the sticker. You can instead use a permit number or some sort of code for the street, example HV for Hillview. I'm not sure how many streets are required to purchase permits, but this doesn't seem like a difficult fix. I'd be interested in the Chief Koroski's feelings on that safety issue. I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think that it's anything that anybody thought of at the beginning when the council decided to put what they put on or what they're required to put on the sticker, with abbreviations or
So I
something
can
like that.
show a little light.
would be-
It
When I
seems
was
to
on the
me
traffic, when I
a
was the
sticker that
liaison to the
says,
traffic committee, this came up because, we did have these parking limits, but we knew that a lot of residents were parking in the street, and there was a reluctance on the part of the police officers to ticket anybody, because they didn't wanna ticket residents for parking on their own street.
right, and I
So
appreciate
there was
that.
it's an optional sticker that you can buy if you need to park on the street. If you have a driveway that's big enough and you don't need to, then you don't need the sticker.
Right,
But if you prefer to have that option to park in the street without getting a ticket, it would be $5. So we didn't think that was, and you said it wasn't, it's not
it's not,
extraordinary.
it's, you know, in principle, it's annoying, but.
So I guess it's a way for them to see that this person belongs on Hillview Avenue, that they're a resident, but you make an excellent point. And so we're gonna have to look administratively about how we can fix that, because that's an excellent, I felt
yeah.
the same way about the red stickers on the back of my
I-
car when my daughter was a new driver, or son.
Absolutely, yeah, I wouldn't put it on the car.
So I hear you,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that up.
I think we all broke that law.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could, like, make color-coded stickers?
They have stickers already, I'm sure that they'll be able to,
We've been doing it for years, this same way.
say.
Like, so it doesn't have the street name, but
Any
it's like.
sort of.
Yeah, we'll
Street
figure
is,
something
yeah,
out.
okay, yeah, I mean, I'll just, that's.
Are they printed, or is it
Yeah.
handwritten?
No, they handwritten.
Handwritten.
It's handwritten, so
With
we
the
could come up with
Yeah,
something that
that's,
would,
that's easy.
Thank
I
you.
like his idea about the number. And then
Well,
we'll
that's
go
hard for
over
the
it.
police
You
officer
gotta,
that's
you gotta
driving down the
check with the
street.
chief to see what's
So
gonna
we'll
work
figure
for them.
something out.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at it, we didn't consider this, and the reason why the street was listed on there is because we didn't want people using a parking permit as a resident to go park
that's right.
closer to the train station, but allow you, again, to Nancy's point, right, that some driveways are narrow, and, you know, kids home from college, or you have multiple children, and not room in your driveway, but yeah, something we'll definitely take a look at.
Right, thank you. The other issue I wanted to talk about is everybody's favorite subject, the abomination that is the McDonald's that will be going in my street. I feel that the borough bears some responsibility to mitigate the adverse effects that this will have on neighboring streets. Specifically, I'm requesting improved signage at the intersection of Mountain Way and Hillview Ave, indicating that this is a one-way street. We very often get people coming up the wrong way up our street. I feel that this will increase with McDonald's. I'm also requesting speed tables be installed before the McDonald's is built to mitigate the increase in delivery drivers and drive-through customers speeding down Hillview Ave to cut out of the traffic on Speedwell. Speed tables have been requested for our street in the past and were denied. The problem is that with cars speeding and vehicles driving the wrong way, this will certainly increase with the addition of this McDonald's at the end of the street. That's all I have.
Okay.
Any response to that, or?
Yeah, we got it written down, and we'll certainly take a look at it. We have projects coming up over the summertime here, and maybe something that they'll be considered. Put in.
That would go to the traffic committee, right?
Which we're gonna try and reconvene very.
Yeah, very shortly,
soon.
they're gonna say, another couple of weeks, you said you're gonna get something.
Yeah, I'll say that, we had a meeting this week, and we plan to meet much more frequently than they had been meeting since all the new traffic issues are arising, so. it's
Now you got a couple of seconds.
Definitely top of mind, absolutely, yeah.
Super.
Thank you for your comments, Dave.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Nancy Mirabell, 349 Lane. I would like to know what the process is for changing an ordinance.
The ordinance committee has to take a look at it, make a recommendation, depending on what the ordinance is, and then whatever the changes are. And what kind of ordinance it is, I don't know what you're talking about specifically, because there are.
I just was wondering what the whole process was like for changing an ordinance. What has to be done in order to change an ordinance?
It goes through the ordinance committee, some go through, the planning board because it's land development ordinances, some do not go through the planning board. The governing body can make those decisions themselves, without checking to see if it, follows the master plan or not, if it's inconsistent or not with the master plan. And some just get taken care of right here.
Yeah, so just to expand on what the mayor said, right? So the particular ordinance, let's say 14-23, right, which does have to do with land use, right? So if the council or somebody on the council wanted to introduce changes to it, we would do so. And then we would send it to the council for their review. And then because has to do with land use, as the mayor said, it would go to the planning board, they would review it, the master plan committee would review it, and then it would ultimately come back to the council. But ultimately, the authority over ordinances and what's in the ordinances lies within the council. So, and as the chair of the ordinance committee, as I mentioned last week, and I know you were here, it is top of my list to do. You'll hear more about it when we get to my report, but it's up there.
Okay, so does the change or the request for the change, can it come from a resident?
Yes.
Or it can?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Hi, Laurie Cama, 12 Lindaberry Lane.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi. All right, so we hear a lot about the unoccupied buildings in town as being a concern, which had me curious about the process for vetting interested applicants. And so I wonder, I have a few questions related to that. Does an interested party first, when does an interested party first approach the town?
So anybody who is interested in whatever piece of property or building or whatever usually starts off with the zoning officer and building department.
The zoning officer, okay. Okay, and is there, all right, so that is that a defined, like, always the designated contact?
Most of the time, somebody will come in, make sure it's a permitted use, square footage of the building, maybe parking. Does it need variances for the use that they're looking to do? Does it fit in the zone? There's a bunch of questions that the zoning officer does answer.
So when you say they'll come in and ask those questions,
Or call or whatever, yeah.
they'll call, and they'll call specifically the zoning officer?
He's usually the first point of contact.
Okay. Okay, and then, all right, and then is that, when those contacts happen, when the zoning officer gets those calls, what happens next? Do they loop in the council to say there's interest in certain properties?
At some point, people do get involved, or either our professionals or members of the council, or the department head, committee head, will be notified that there's somebody interested. Usually not until something is with a tenant and a landlord signed, because a lot of people ask about a lot of buildings throughout the borough, so.
Okay, so somebody.
So not every inquiry, we don't know about every inquiry that goes through the building department.
Okay, so someone may just have a general question, call the zoning officer, get it answered, and then they don't pursue anything. Somebody else might call, and then it turns into more, and then the zoning officer would refer them to the
Well,
planning
then,
board, or?
they have to determine whether it's a use, a permitted use
Right.
or not, right? And then somebody, or usually a real estate agent or somebody, will come in and ask for the proper paperwork that they have to fill out for whatever use or building or business or whatever that they're doing. And then that kind of gets the ball rolling.
Okay,
But ultimately though, it's a decision for the landlord to make if it's a permitted use, right? If they wanna accept.
No,
this
the
permit.
borough decides whether it's a permitted use or
No,
not.
if it's a permitted use, right? If it is,
If it is a permitted use.
then the landlord and the tenant decide the terms and, you know.
Well, yeah, that has nothing to do with the borough,
Right.
the terms of
You
any
don't decide.
lease, or, we don't do any of that stuff. It's really a permitted use or a non-permitted use, and maybe what sort of variance of parking, lighting, whatever, it could be handicap, it could be all kinds of things.
okay, so,
May need adjusting.
The zoning officer, his job is to, when you go in there, to see where you're gonna go. To the construction office, if you're in compliance. If you need something different, he may say you've gotta go to the Board of Adjustment, you're gonna need variances, change of use, etc. If it's something larger, you may have to go to the planning board, which by the way, does have somewhat power to, change use, if I'm not mistaken, right? Not necessarily use, but they can. But he'll make that determination.
okay, and
he's-
so No, that's really helpful to know that they help kind of get them to land in the right place. But to Nancy's point, so if the discussion's with the landlord and there's no issue about use it's a permitted use already according to the landlord, then how does the town find out? It just happens? Like you do grand openings, so I'm thinking.
But if it's the same use, that it really, there is not a lot of process if a restaurant is coming into a restaurant in the same building, right? So that kind of just moves forward.
Right.
If it's a change of use, there is a process for a change of use. If it's a restaurant and now it's gonna become a beauty salon or whatever the case may be, there's a process for that.
There is, okay.
Because a restaurant requires more parking, I'm just using these for
No,
examples.
yeah,
They require more parking than a beauty salon, whatever the case is.
Okay.
Yeah. But did you have something to say, Bill?
No, but just for clarification, when somebody comes in, to use your example, with an interest on a piece of property in the town, and the zoning officer, let's say, for example, they say to them, no, it's not a permitted use, so you would need a use variance. Or it is a permitted use, but you may have a problem with parking or ingress or egress, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't, it's not, I don't want you to get the idea that it then goes from the zoning officer to this board, because what would happen is, it may die there, it may never make it out of that room.
Right.
But if there's interest by the person who came, the property owner or the contract purchaser, whatever his standing may be, then he would submit an application. And the application would be either to the planning board or the zoning board of adjustment. And then that board, or whatever the board is that's handling that application, if it be for a restaurant or a car wash or whatever it may be, that's the governing body, or that's the body that would hear the application and ultimately decide on it. A lot of times those applications never make it to this board, if ever. So when there's an interest in a piece of property, again, the mayor's correct, it goes to the zoning officer, but there's really not a mechanism that then comes to this board. It goes either to planning or zoning, and it may never make it there, but the next triggering event would be an application by that property owner to that board. And then you would have hearings and everything, which I know everybody in this room is now familiar with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the process there, but
Okay, no, that's really helpful, actually, I didn't have all that context, so I appreciate that, and then, so it may never come to this board, like you find out maybe from the property owner that, hey, or from any one of the other committees through your representation on those to say, we now have somebody applying for that property or whatever.
right, but on the planning board, just so you know, under statute, the mayor is always a member of the planning
Yes.
board. There's always a member of this
There's always
council that
somebody,
serves
exactly.
on it as what's known as a class two. So I don't want you to think this board has no idea. It's not
No,
like we're
so you
naive to
report
what's going
outs.
on, but we
Yeah.
hear it through those various channels, but
Exactly.
nothing goes directly to us or to
Got
this
it.
body politic to act.
It's a different board that makes that decision.
Correct.
The council.
Oh,
doesn't.
absolutely, no, I
And they have
did know
separate
that.
powers that we can't trample upon here.
Sure,
It's
sure.
kind of a checks and balances or
Okay.
separation.
That's
I
really
think what a
helpful.
lot of people don't understand too is that the landlord does kind of the commercial real estate marketing for their property. They try to attract tenants, and that whole transaction of who they're trying to attract, if they wanna go down this path or they wanna go in this direction, we really have nothing to do
Yeah.
with. Just so you know.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. And then, sorry to circle back to McDonald's, but do we know how, was the application the first we knew about this, or were there questions of the zoning officer or something about that use?
I'm sure it came through the zoning officer at some point, for that trigger, yeah.
Okay, all right, good, no, thank you.
Just so you know, too, it's not, I also don't want you to get the conclusion that when somebody comes into town, it just goes directly to the zoning officer, and that's it. A lot of times, especially a large-scale application, it won't just go through the zoning officer. Sometimes there'll be some discussions with the borough engineer and things like that, long before an application is even submitted, which is common, because somebody's not gonna wanna come in on an application and spend oodles and oodles of money on what has absolutely no chance of ever getting approved. So a lot of times, property owners will come in and say to the borough attorney, hey, what do you think if we bring a car wash here? And he'll be, forget it, you got no parking, your lighting's a disaster, and then it'll just die. I mean, nobody's gonna spend the money at that point. But you know, that sometimes happens too.
So it has as much to do with the person applying as to who they go to, but they'll usually take a town office that makes sense, right? To get
Correct.
the answers they need to see, do I wanna move forward?
They're gonna gauge the temperature of the town before they come in. Correct. Usually, not always, but sometimes. So that happens.
Okay, I really appreciate the thoroughness of that answer. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thanks, Laurie.
Appreciate it.
Good question.
Hi, Pam Dise-Moran, Dise-Moran, 7 Hillview Avenue.
Hi, Pam.
Hello. I just wanted to echo, I haven't planned on notes or anything, so I'll be brief. I just want to echo what Mr. Burrows had said, as I'm also a resident of Hillview, and so is Paul and Jess, and I'm not speaking for everybody. Is anybody else here from Hillview?
Well, I was gonna get up and do the same thing.
Exactly, so just saying, raise your hand that we are Short Street and we are often used as a cut through to Simon's already. And just in the past, I mean, I remember when my daughter was little, she's now a senior in high school. But when she was little, we had this big neon orange thing at the end of our driveway and the green dude with the hand saying, slow down, because, we're the first house. We're the first house with the book bench in our front drive, right across from Joyful Noise. So people careen around the corner and then pick up speed, like you're rooming it as they come past our house. So I just wanted to emphasize what he was saying, that it's already an issue. It's been an issue, it's been worse lately. Like I'm out there, I feel like that old lady or whatever shaking my fist at people like, slow down, you know? And then I've also witnessed many people going the wrong way on the street. I think they kind of come in and people cut through the church parking lot. I'm honestly guilty of it sometimes myself because we're right there and that's like our across the street, just in order to try to get around the block. So that's really it. Just wanted to emphasize what Mr. Burrows said and put some highlight on it. Thanks.
Thanks for your comments, Pam.
So you're
Thanks,
in favor of the speed table?
I'm sorry, I don't want people driving like the Dukes of Hazzard, but yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we need that. Like launching on.
We also just tried in, over on Jim Pier Drive where the kids cross right before the community center, more of a rumble strip, is that what they call it?
Correct.
The rumble strip.
Grooves, roadway patterns.
So there's two sets of these rumble type strips there that they'll also consider maybe over there, like in that
And
area.
the residents have to listen to the rumble
Yeah.
strips all the
Well, they have to, yeah, no, they're loud and, you know, just the stuff going on, the bump speed tables.
Good Karr.
Hi, Paul Clolery, 18 Hillview Avenue. Just saw this for the first time, the Borough of Morris Plans resolution to support a grant application for pedestrian safety enforcement. Where are those devices going to plan to go? So the chief can answer those.
So we have a project right now that we're looking at, the funding would be for you, sometimes you may see our speed radar sign out, and trying to get, it also calculates data and gives us, you know, times of day when we're speeding issues, so that battery in that system dies depending on the volume of traffic that goes by it very quickly. These are solar powered units that we put on some of our, heavier traveled roadways, granite, smell, hardness styles, maybe things like that. They're fixed units, so we don't have to go out and change batteries all the time, so we have a concept of just adding to our more, you know, highly traveled streets. And then our portable sign can be used on some of those other locations, so.
There's been talk at the planning board about changes to Speedwell Avenue with bikes going up and different traffic safety parts. So would the town, would the borough be asking for grant money or going to grant money to handle any of that change along Speedwell Avenue for the McDonald's? So McDonald's is gonna be responsible for what McDonald's gets approved for. The borough already did receive grant money for the Rosedale crosswalk, but moving forward, I think Mike has got.
There's pedestrian flashing beacons, unfortunately due to the bureaucracy of DOT, we're looking 4 to 5 months before any of the project is fully in motion here, but the funding's been placed to 75%, 25 share. So we'll install one of those, instead of our orange flags, which hopefully will keep in place as well, maybe to draw some more attention, we can push the button, the sign will activate, alert traffic there. And what we found is that on Speedwell Avenue, if the first car does stop for you, there's another car behind it that's intent on passing on the left or the right, so this will hopefully illuminate a little further down the roadway, alert further down traffic. Sorry, there's a pedestrian on the roadway, so, but that's funding's in place, so.
So originally, Paul, we started this before McDonald's even thought about it, whatever.
Yes.
So we originally got funding for 2 of them. one for Hillview and one for Rosedale. There's gonna be two of them, but, we're gonna try to see. I don't know whether we're gonna be able to move the funding for the second one in the town possible somewhere else along the avenue. Yeah, Mike's working on that as well.
I know because with the church parking lot right there, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to turn onto my street and somebody was coming out of that church parking lot making a speed, trying to get out on a speed wall from me from the wrong exit.
Yes, right.
Three or four times in just the last couple of months, I've almost gotten head on.
And they used to block those entrance ways off with the gates.
During school hours, they do.
Say again?
During school hours, it's blocked off.
And then they open them up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Well, this
sometimes
is-
helpul for residents.
Okay.
This is people
But the gates
exiting
would have nothing to do with it.
exiting the parking lot.
Right, this is exiting the parking lot, the gates have nothing to do with it. They're coming out, instead of making the left on Spring, they're making the right to get over onto.
Yeah, out of that first driveway, I've seen
Yeah.
occasionally,
In the
where
last
they make that
couple
hard right out, so.
Multiple times, I've almost been head on with somebody coming out of the block, but heading the McDonald's and everything else to people who are trying to get out on the speed wall in a hurry is even more challenge.
Yeah, we'll certainly look at some additional signage over there and warning devices if we can.
Well, it's a Hillview
Thanks,
day.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul, appreciate it.
Well, it's a Hillview day. I wasn't going to speak, but my name's Jessica, or 15 Hillview. Hi, okay. So a few things. First, I was here pre-Christmas and talked to y'all, so I don't need to go into any of that again. But I just wanted to touch on a few things. First off, Mr. Burrows just scared the crap out of me with his comments about his daughter, and I am terrified. And as a single woman who lives on Hillview Avenue with two small children, that is really scary. I do not have a permit on my car. I unfortunately do disagree. I think that people who don't live on our street should have to have the permit, not us. But I understand that they need to figure something out, and $5 is not a lot of money, but it's just a principle. But my other concern is, my question actually, is probably to you again, sorry. Is there any opportunity that we can have, are we in a school zone on Hillview Avenue? Because my house backs up there, I mean, I live on school property. I open my gate and I'm there. So is it a school zone if
Yes.
we put a speed, if we have no school sign, there's one sign on speed
Well,
wall. Like,
there's
we
a
put-
difference between a school zone as far as motor vehicle traffic is concerned, and then there's a difference between the school zone of like a drug-free school zone. So there's different,
I just wasn't sure, like, if we could put like a school zone sign on our street, maybe that would help people slow down because of the double charging. Like, the speeds are just
I
so.
mean, yeah, we could add signs everywhere, but it's my experience that all these signs just become white noise at a certain point in time, when you add, especially when you add too many. It's too much for the motorists to take in. And listen, you're trying to change driver behavior, with signs when they're already set on, this is my destination, this is where I need to go, and, some streets just become, that's the way I need to go to where I get, so sometimes the signs, increased sign doesn't always mean increased safety.
Okay. No, and I appreciate that. I just didn't know. I am, terrified for what's to come when McDonald's moves in there. And I really hope that we as a town have some strong plans put into place to keep my children and the other 8 children and 10 children that live on our street safe. My car was one of the ones that got robbed. We were part of the 5 cars that got broken into on Hillview a few years ago. Right? I know 1, 2, Burrows too, right, weren't you?
Nope.
So, our cars got broken into, and now we're putting stickers. So, I'm really thankful we're gonna change those stickers, thank you. But, please let us know if we can help, because I'm willing to talk to anybody about my thoughts and ideas and wanna bring that. So, thank you all for your time.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Seeing no one else, we'll move on. Reports of committees and department heads, finance, Ms. Verga.
The clerk's office is still receiving applications for their entry-level admin assistant. The job posting closes on February 14th, and the information's on the Borough website. We are still waiting for 150 residents or so to send in their rabies certificates for their dog licenses. Last year, they registered 599 dogs. So far, we're at 482, but waiting for those rabies certificates. They can't process your license without it. Registration is open for existing community garden plots, but you have to register and pay by February 24th because they have a waiting list for space. So those plots will go if you don't grab your space. And they're still working on lengthy OPRA requests, lengthy and time-consuming OPRA requests, parking permits, as you said, annual insurance payments and filing for certain community organizations. And you probably got in the mail a property tax estimate card that was mailed out to all borough property owners last week, I believe. Work continues in preparation for the annual budget meetings in March. And that's pretty much it.
Public safety.
Thank you, Mayor. Met quickly with Sarah in the courts this week. She let me know of a couple of the cases that are coming up and said, you know, I can come by and kind of see how things are run, so that's exciting. I'll definitely take that opportunity. Spoke with Chris Shea, Fire Prevention Chief, starting those new hours, so he's hoping that he can, like I was saying, get some of those extra inspections in with that extra hour in the morning, catching people before they go to work, so excited to catch up with him in the next week or two and see how those new hours are going. Fire department got their new ladder truck back, which is great because they do use that to assist a lot of the other fire departments in the area. I know Chief Rongo was happy about that. Chief's still waiting on one or two things for his budget, but he was hopeful that he should have that in the next day or two. So once we get that, we can start to dig in and look at that as well. Earlier this evening, we had the police officer interviews. We had two fantastic candidates. We're feeling very confident that you know, we're going to hire one of them. So we're hoping that will be one of the things that can start to address some of the issues of people speeding by having an extra officer out in the streets. We will have some extra eyes on that. We did have a traffic committee meeting as well, went over some of the objectives for the year, one of which was they're going to come up with essentially a version of complete streets for Morris Plains. For those of you that don't know, that essentially is a multi-step process. When there's any changes made to streets or sidewalks, we are definitely hoping to tackle some of the issues on Hillview, on Glenbrook, whether it's different lines, you know, shoulders on the streets, etc. But that is absolutely top of mind in addressing some of those traffic safety issues. We're also going to be meeting much more frequently. To my knowledge, they met twice a year in the past. I'm pushing to make that about every 4 to 6 weeks with all the issues coming up. As the chair of that, I really want to make sure we're addressing those issues. Next week, we've got a conceptual plans committee meeting where we going to be meeting with Dave Schultz again, who's going to be presenting a couple options for the possible renovation of the police and firehouse or a possible new building offsite. I think Chief wanted to say a little something, and then I know Mark from the fire department wanted to speak as well.
No, I mean, as far as me, we had a recent council meeting, so I did want to thank the Borough Council and the Mayor for taking the time out of their busy schedules to meet with our candidates this evening. So, two fine young men, hopefully we'll move forward with that resolution at the end of the meeting here. And then I just wanted to thank the Mayor and Council for the recognition of Sergeant Jeff Hockman, 25 years of service to the Borough. Jeff started when he was 18 as a police dispatcher, and I'm not sure his age now, but you can do the math. But Jeff's been a great asset, recently moved into our traffic unit and is doing a stellar job throughout his tenure as a supervisor, not only, like I said, at his ceremony and impact on the borough itself, but on our staff here as well. So thank you, Jeff, again for his contributions and 25 years of service to the borough of Morris Plains. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, once again, thank you, Jeff, and it certainly has been an asset to everybody, residents and the borough itself, so thank you. Chief?
Good evening.
How are you?
Chief Rongo couldn't be here this evening, he's taking his class this evening, so just wanted to throw some statistics, numbers. So, as of an hour ago, we're up to 46 calls for the year. We last Friday, as I'm sure a lot of you know, we had the gas leak on Glenbrook Road, a couple houses up from the library. From about, I believe, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., we had 14 calls for service for smells of gas. And every call got answered, no calls were missed. But just think about that, 14 times, you know, people have to drop what they're doing. People have to leave work, not me, but not anymore. So just keep that in mind, 100% volunteer. We're dropping Friday. Guys spent almost all day at the firehouse. One last thing, we had a training session on Monday evening. We're lucky enough to have a homegrown boy that came back to visit family for a couple days. He offered to do a training class for us while he was here. He started in the fire department here in Morris Plains as a junior, 14-year-old, worked it into a career in Baltimore County. So he was, and he's detailed to their fire academy for a lot of the training. So he, like I said, he was home. He gave us about an hour lecture on mental stress training, basically how to prep your mind to respond to an emergency prior to the call actually coming in. So it was a very good class, and we're lucky enough to have Daniel Webster still giving back to the town when he's home.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's so commendable that they do come back and pass on that priceless knowledge that they do gain in these other places and in his position, and to know that he started here and now he's training the younger guys and the older guys, seasoned veterans like yourself, Mark. You know, I mean, that's just fantastic and a way to give back. So,
absolutely. Yep. That's all I had. I just wanted to throw the numbers at you.
Hey, Chief, I just want to say on that training, so as you know, my son obviously is a junior firefighter. He came home from that training, and he couldn't be more excited to come in and tell me all about what he learned about, you know, mental stability and thinking about stuff. So, you know, kudos to you and the rest of the department for organizing that. Kudos to Daniel, right? He came back to doing that and, you know, passing it on to the next generation. So thank you very much for what you guys do.
Thank you.
Great work, Chief.
Thank
you. Public Works, Mr. Bruhn.
We're really good at embarrassing our kids. You're shaking his head the whole time. So, talked to our superintendent, John, today. We're expecting some more snow this weekend, and they're watching a very large storm next week. So they've been very busy. They plowed and salted 3 times from the last time I did my report, and they'll be out again this weekend and next week. So they're keeping up a good job, keeping our streets clear and keeping you guys safe. I live up the top of the mountain way, so I'm always happy to see that very dry and you know, snow cleared when I go down. They continue to work on our town vehicles, pick up garbage throughout the town. They cleaned some of the drains. The storm drains got kind of clogged with leaves and sticks. They took down Christmas decorations and chipped the last of the Christmas trees. I do still have one on my back deck, so I'm gonna have to wait till spring to get rid of that.
Good thing it's raining out.
I guess there were some people put some pallets over at the community park. They got rid of those. We do use those for our bonfire, but it's a little too early to store.
No more pallets.
Right.
No more pallets, period.
Oh, okay.
We get the nails in there, and then we had an issue with flat tires, so no more pallets.
No more pallets.
Period.
Heard it straight from the mill.
That's no good.
They repaired some stuff over at the community center. They had a tree fall in the community garden for your gardeners. They got rid of the tree and fixed the fence, so we appreciate that. And they did do some cleanups with some leaves during the non-snow days. There was, community park was one of the last parks to get cleaned up, so they hauled the leaves up to Mount Olive Leaf Dome. And we appreciate all the work, and you'll see them around tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow will be sunny, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Public Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Cortese.
Thank you, Mayor. Being here more than a couple of years, I served on, I think, all the committees. And I can tell you now, I'm with Public Buildings and Ground, and one is a shade tree. Learned so much. The commission there likes to take a proactive approach to especially with dead branches and dead trees. We had an incident on Johnson Road where, you know, the dead tree took down the line, and JCP&L had to go there. They work together with the DPW and our forester. Many times DPW is capable of doing. By the way, we got the best DPW department. As you can hear, everybody, they do everything. Pool, everything you can imagine. Keeping our streets black when there's snow. And so they take a very proactive approach towards that. One commissioner at the meeting, there was no rec meetings, I just have a little bit from Shade Tree, pointed out that in the last 10 years, we lost about 5% of our canopy in Morris Plains. So they're looking to replace it, you know, as many trees as possible, and they're also looking to go with more indigenous trees, but I think it will be also very, very nice. I think at our next meeting, Nancy.
Who's speaking to the next, sir?
Sure.
Jose, can you hear me?
President, can you hear me?
At our next meeting. Is that good, is that good? I got it.
I'm just a messenger.
I apologize.
Don't kill me. We got a lot of stuff here.
At our next meeting, I did invite the chairman and the vice chairman. One can come, one has a conflict, and he's gonna educate the council, and, you know, especially with the budget coming up, it would be nice to hear from all department heads, so we can, better determine what to do with the taxpayer money, which is our responsibility. You guys put us here, we have an obligation to you, and, I don't have very much more than that, because we had a meeting last week, Mayor. I mean, I can talk a lot more, but
Sure,
really,
sure.
That's
not
good.
that much more.
It's a school night.
That's fine.
Everybody wants to get a hold of it.
I'll give you the hope salad.
Yeah, yeah.
Public health, sanitation, and sewers, Mr. Ivey on your first report.
Thank you. So I had a busy week, trying to onboard as much as I can, understand what, how this town operates. Got to meet a lot of the great staff out back that keeps this machine running. So the Municipal Alliance met on February 3rd, and I got to see all the great work that they're doing for the community. They have all of the year's events allocated and fully funded, working the schedule. One main thing that they're very proud of was the Stephen Hill will be bringing his speaking engagement to Morrison High School for the seniors on May 23rd. He had an event in September, and the principal, Mark Manning, really wanted it to come back, so they were able to bring him back just for the seniors that are graduating. The last scheduled presentation of 7 Habits for Highly Effective Teens will take place on Valentine's Day, February 14th at the Burrows School Library. The Mountain Way School is having the Taekwondo program for the kindergarten, first and second graders during the school day. That'll extend through the 20th of this month. And the LEAD program is progressing well with the 5th graders. Sergeant Hines will be ordering the blood alcohol content goggles so the kids can understand the impacts of being impaired. And it'll also be introducing scooter safety, which I'm sure everybody knows can be certainly well spent, effort well spent. The Valentine's Day all-grade dance hosted by the Teen Center will be tomorrow night at the Community Center. And then lastly, like Art said, snow's coming, probably a lot more than we've seen in quite a few years. It obviously increases the risk of heart attack, cardiac arrest. We don't want anybody dropping dead, so please be careful when shoveling, take breaks, lift properly, listen to your body. Your heart rate will jump up really fast when you're not expecting it. So.
Mayor, he's only been here a week, that's a very important thing.
Shoes have been filled.
He doesn't have much confidence, he says it'll go down now. All right, well, whatever, we'll see.
Good job.
Ordinances and public utilities, Mr. Houston.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mike, you're still my thunder there, man. You're the new guy. I like it. All right, so just a few updates on some comments that were made about in the past. So in January's meeting, Ms. Cama and last week Ms. Schroeder asked about Ordinance 14, 2023. So specifically last week, Ms. Schroeder asked to review what zones drive-throughs are allowed in and suggested that our current definition of minor and major subdivisions needs to be revised. I can tell you that, as I mentioned, that ordinance, along with a few others, are being looked at by the Ordinance and Public Utilities Committee. And we intend on providing requested edits for the Council Planning Board to review. Also, I'm going to be meeting with our committee, our engineer, and the heads of the Planning Board and Zoning Boards to review our checklist A through G, which have been updated since 2019. We're going to look for potential ways to make it easier for residents to apply for changes, as well as some outdated practices such as the amount of hard copies required or the distance that a list of structures needs to be provided. Again, last week, Mrs. Mirabell asked some questions in regards to air quality. Our engineer, Bill Ryan, answered the question, but just to put a finer point on it, in both the resolution for McDonald's, PB 124, and in our code, it has statements about environmental performance. Also, per our code, Morris Plains Code Section 13, Article 52A 24.1, our performance standards are defined in there. And it says, as a condition of the approval of any application, the applicant shall supply evidence satisfactory to the approving board. The proposed use will conform fully with all the applicable performance standards stated herein. So if you want to find out more about that, you can go to eCode 360. I'm happy to provide the link if anybody wants to reach out, but that's where it is. Mr. Clolery asked about fines and penalties, and Mr. Duran answered those accurately, but just to direct what part of the code those are in, it's section 13, article 7.1. And then I'm also looking into a pre-construction meeting for McDonald's to find out the date and times, and ask that they have a public session so that the public can be part of those meetings, so they can be informed of a timeline for construction. I know that some of the utility companies have already been over there doing some investigative work and disconnecting utilities, which is part of the normal process before doing any construction or demolition. Just on the planning board update, so the planning board has their monthly meeting coming up this Monday, February 10th, which is going to be here in this room at 7:30 p.m. The agenda is already posted on the website. The zoning board, they're going to have their monthly meeting on Monday, February 24th, again here in this room at 7:30 p.m. The agenda is going to be posted probably in a week or so. SMCMUA update, as you all know, they've been doing water work. They've installed, so this week they've installed a water main on Maple Avenue and Diana Road, and they've done water main testing on Birch Drive. Next week, they're scheduled to continue water main testing on Maple Avenue and perform water main testing on Stiles. And they will also connect the water main on Birch Drive to the water main on Mountain Way and begin service line transfers. On affordable housing, as the council voted to approve the resolution last week, and as the mayor reported, we have successfully submitted our counter number of 102 affordable units on time as per the timeline and state statute. So we are in compliance with that. On training, I mentioned last week that
And did
yes.
file a declaratory judgment, so that kind of protects us a little bit as well for future litigation.
Yes, thank you.
We did that, or passed the resolution on Thursday, and then Friday that was filed. So.
Correct. Yeah, the mayor's point, the deadline was January 31st, so we met that deadline. So we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and as the mayor said, we're also adding a little protection in there for ourselves as well. So as I mentioned, Tyler and I actually went down to the New Jersey League of Municipalities newly elected orientation. And it was a crash course in all the things we need to know about serving on council. It just barely scratched the surface of what we need to do, but it was a very good high-level overview, which covered things like budget, purchasing, procurement, labor relations, the role of a clerk, very, very important role, Oprah and ethics.
Something you don't know anything about.
Oprah and ethics and conflicts of interest. So it was very enlightening for Tyler and I to go to that. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And then lastly, just general comments. Chief Bellis covered it already, but just a little bit more detail. On February 1st, there were 14 calls. I had 13, but I had 14 calls to the fire department reporting the smell of gas. PSE&G and the fire department responded quickly and determined the source was a 12-inch main gas leak on Glenbrook Road, actually right in front of my house. Our fire prevention chief, Chris Shea, fire department, police officers, and crew of about 15 PSE&G workers all responded quickly, and they repaired the leak inside of the day and without interruption to any of the residents. So a big thank you to our fire department for running all around that day, responding to all the calls, and to Chris Shea for being on scene and ensuring that residents are safe. So.
Thank you. We have no introductions of ordinances. We have no ordinances on second reading. We do have a resolution.
The following is a resolution authorizing a conditional offer of employment to Emilio Erickson to the Borough of Morris Plains Police Department. Whereas the Police Department of the Borough of Morris Plains is desirous of hiring one police officer to serve within the police department, and whereas the Chief of Police has advised the Borough Council that there is in fact a need for one police officer within the Borough of Morris Plains Police Department, and whereas the Borough Council at its February 6, 2025 public meeting had the opportunity to interview Emilio Erickson and has agreed to extend a conditional offer of employment to Emilio Erickson to serve as a police officer within the Borough's Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council on this 6th day of February 2025 that one, the Chief of Police is hereby authorized to extend a conditional offer of employment to Emilio Erickson to serve as a police officer here in the Borough of Morris Plains Police Department, and that employment is conditioned upon Emilio Erickson successfully completing training course at the Morris County Public Safety Training Academy. And that Emilio Erickson shall begin receiving a prorated academy salary of $54,523.03, or whatever salary is appropriate under the Borough Code or enabling statute. And 3, that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Would somebody like to move that resolution as stated?
Is there a second?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Art. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cortese?
Yes.
Mr. Bruhn?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Ivey?
Yes.
Mr. Pontier?
Yes.
Ms. Verga?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have no unfinished business. We do have new business. I think it's new business, Joan, right? Is this new business or old business?
Kind of old business.
Well, we'll go in the middle. How's that? First of all, Joan, thank you for your time as a council member here in the Borough of Morris Plains. Joan was sworn in on January 31st, 2019 to replace an open seat on the Borough Council and was re-elected as the incumbent for the next 2 elections. During her time on council, Joan has been the chair of Public Health, Sanitation and Sewers, Public Works, Buildings and Grounds. Joan was on the Website Development Committee, which brought our website into the 21st century. She also served on the Business Development Committee to help improve our downtown area and probably was known best for being the new market manager of the farmers market, adding many new vendors and activities to help it become a huge success. And I know I'm missing a whole bunch of things, Joan, but I'm sure that you will fill that in. But my sincerest thanks for all your dedication and hard work as a member of the Borough Council. It's people like you that truly make this community a community of caring. So if Sal and Art would give me a hand, they have a little something for you. And why don't you come on up, Joan? And
As long as you're not sitting here while we're doing this.
Yeah. So as a long-time standing tradition here in the borough, we offer you this chair, Joan, to be comfortable in your days that you're not at our council meetings or any other committee meeting. But really, once again, thank you very much. It's so deserving, and really best of luck to you moving forward and everything that you're going through. It meant a lot here, having you here up on the dais for so many years and making Morris Plains the way it is today. So thank you very much. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
So I don't have a big speech. I know everybody wants to get home. Because on the reorg meeting, I did have some remarks. Once again, just wanted to thank everybody in the community for your generosity and kindness. As many of you know, I resigned from my role. Actually, I've been retired for a month tomorrow because of circumstances in my family. My husband is ill, and I work a full-time job, and I needed to, unfortunately, get rid of something on my plate. And the first choice, it was hard because this is something that I loved doing. I remember being 10 years old and driving with my family through Washington, D.C. and looking out the window at the Capitol building and saying, I want to do something that's going to help people. And at that point I thought it was my day job, and things that I volunteered in, but it wasn't until I got the role when Councilman Karr became mayor that I realized that this was it. This is what I dreamed about as a young child. And seeing your kids here today and just the joy and just even having them see you be, how to roll and with the town, and they're gonna go, that's my dad at that event, and that's my dad helping cut that ribbon. Like, that's what it's all about, I mean, it's a lot of work what we all did and do up here, preparing for these meetings, going to meetings, being here, helping with hiring new officers and getting new equipment for the fire department and everything that goes into making this town run. But at the end of the day, we all love doing it, right? And that's not gonna stop for me. I know I stepped down from my role, but I'm still on the Centennial Committee. I'm gonna be helping out in some capacity with the farmer's market, and I'm gonna continue to be involved. And what I love here with this crowd is that when I first started in 2019, these seats were empty, right? I mean, we really didn't have people come, and then obviously with the pandemic, nobody was here, even us. And a lot of the communication that people received was because there was something posted on the bulletin board outside, you know? And I think we've come a long way. Do we still have a lot more to do? Hell yeah. But I think with people and residents getting involved, coming up here and asking questions, like I know that's not easy. Like I was in those seats before I got on council and I was scared to come up here and ask a question, but you guys are doing it. Continue to do that, continue to be involved, continue to ask questions, because this is all, whether you're a council member, whether you're elected, whether you're the mayor, whether you're the chief of police, this is our community, and we want it run a certain way, we have to be involved. So I'm going to continue to be involved and help this community, and thank you for putting your trust in me to do that.
How does it feel?
That's wonderful.
Does anybody else have anything to,
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Nice.
that chair stays here now, so you have to come
Okay.
here to sit.
I need to put a position on.
Does anybody else have anything to say about Joan? We do have coffee and cake.
Oh, wow.
Also
Oh, my
here,
God.
so everybody, please feel free to stick around and stay. But once
I
again, Joan, thank you.
I had the pleasure of serving with Joan, especially with the police contracts. And it was, let me tell you, it was 9 months of tremendous work, sometimes hours, 10, 20 hours a week, a month, I'm sorry. Ooh. And I can tell you, she was instrumental, dynamic. She brought the corporate side into that, and it helped so much with the negotiation. I think we had a great team. It was Mrs. Kelly, Joan, and myself, and it was some accomplishment. And everybody, to have something work, everybody has to leave the table happy, somewhat, and that's the way it was done. And Joan was a big part of that, so thank you.
Yeah, sorry. No, sorry. I just want to say to Joan that, you and Nancy were a lot of the reason that I chose to run for office. And, until you showed up at my door that day, I had no idea I even wanted to do this. And what's it been, 3 years, 2.5 years? I'm here now. And a large part of that is because of you. So thank you very much for inspiring me to do this. And like you said, we still have a lot of work to do, but thank you for paving the way. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
So Joan, when I got on the council, you were already on for a year, so you were really my mentor and my example. And I know you kind of braved it up here on your own, and so we became a little bit of a team, and you really inspired me. You always had so much professional advice from your work that you brought to our decision making and our discussions. And I think because of your communication skills, we really opened up and started having more collaborative conversations as a council and really discussing things and not being afraid to come forward with a different opinion. And I really think as a result of that, we made better decisions as a council. And I think we continue to do that because of your example. And it was just such a joy to be with you at the farmer's market and to see that grow, and just so many beautiful days and so many happy people coming to shop there. And it was that's really been such a joy. And I thank you for all the time and effort you put into that, because it's a great thing for all of us, I think. So thank you.
It's still a lot of the same stuff there, but the corporate, you know, what you brought here was great. We almost like kind of our HR person, to set us straight. But I do appreciate that. I do, your dedication, but I did appreciate your sense of humor. Like, you really had a good, quick wit, you know, whether we were in a real serious situation, so. But yeah, appreciate all that work that we did together, and you'll be missed. And you know, I know your family's important, number one, so I'm pray that everything goes well there, so.
I'll be very quick, but just sort of echoing what Bill said. I remember the night that I officially met you and Nancy together, and you both really inspired me. I could feel your passion for Morris Plains, and I could feel how much you cared, and I really connected with that, and that really, you know, made me want to stand up as well and be that example for my family, for the residents of Morris Plains. And you always just had such a great attitude, and you have a great smile and a great laugh, and you know, thank you for helping kind of guide us and mentor us and just being such a great person.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody said all the same things, but it's funny that when you first reached out to me to be on the council, like Bill, never in a million years. I thought everybody up here was, you just had to look up to them. So when you reached out, I was like, I'm in trouble. Why does Joan need to call me? What did I do? And
She scared the crap out of me.
so yeah, that started the whole ball rolling. So I really appreciate that I'm here where I never thought I would be. So thank you.
Once again, thank you very much, and enjoy, well deserved.
Yes, thank you.
Moving forward, we have no vouchers, we have no executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second by Sal.
All in favor? Opposed? It's always yes, the ayes have it. Please join us right down the hall here for some cake and coffee. Thank you. Celebrating both of them.